I've got a pretty epic story. Well, I think it's pretty epic. I was dropped in a random country, a country that wasn't that easy, although it is perceived to be quite easy to get laid. No online dating. I was unable to pipeline numbers before I arrived. Didn't have any friends or any wings or anybody there. It was just purely solo, dropped in a city, random country, and a limited amount of days to figure out how to get laid. If it was a reality show, it'd probably be called Pickup Survivor or something like that. And if you're anything like me, that sounds like fun. That sounds like something that is pretty epic, I would say. And I'm going to talk about that in this video. But before we kick it off, I'm Dave, and this channel is dedicated to giving you no BS novel dating advice for the modern man. Top link in the description to read a blog post in detail. I wrote it's about 5,000 words long. Started out writing it. 12 hours later, I was finishing it. But what happened was I traveled to Europe, and on the way back, I didn't want to do the 24-hour trip back to Australia, so I stopped off in Osaka, Japan. And when I stopped off in Osaka, Japan, I tried to get online. One thing I recommend for you guys, if you're traveling, it is definitely recommended to figure out what online dating app they're using in that particular country or that city. Pipeline some numbers. Spend a couple weeks before you arrive in that city. Just try to get some girls online talking to you, get their contacts, get their numbers, get whatever before you arrive, so that you've got something to work with when you arrive. And it depends on how you make your holidays too. Myself, when I travel, I just go for pickup, to be honest. I'm not too interested in culture, not too interested in languages or architecture or anything like that. I learn all that by meeting women in those countries, and pipelining numbers is definitely recommended whenever you're traveling. It doesn't matter where you're traveling. You should always try to pipeline some numbers before you go anywhere. Now, this particular instance, I arrived in Osaka, Japan, and I tried to get online, but what happened was around that period, would you believe it, a guy murdered a Japanese girl through Tinder. He met her on Tinder and murdered her only recently. And so when I tried to get on online dating with Tinder or something else, not one of them were keen to. I didn't get any matches. I think they were just freaked out because it was headline news, and in countries in Asia, whenever a white guy does anything, it's front page news. You know, white guys are bad. So I arrived without any contacts. I had nothing to work with. I arrived in a foreign country I've never been in before. On top of that, it was kind of cold, and I didn't realize that a lot of the nightclubs around where I was staying, and anywhere in the vicinity, they all like prostitute bars, or they were dead. There was nobody in them. So I pretty much I was like, it's literally Pickup Survivor. I landed in Osaka, Japan, with nothing, and I decided, okay, the only solution here is cold approach pickup, and it depends on how authentic you are. Myself, I'm as authentic as it gets. I want to land in this city. I just want to do cold approach pickup the entire time. I want to make connections, meet people. I want to manifest the type of life that I want, and make it happen fast, and that's what cold approach is. So I arrived, and I will say, I will admit, people, although recently I have heard of guys that live in Japan making out that Japan's difficult to get laid if you're a foreigner. It's not. It's not difficult. It's difficult in my circumstance. No online dating, no nightclubs, a short period of time, only 8 days. But if you're living there, it's only a matter of time. Even if you're a fat monster with no money and you're a lazy piece of shit, you're still going to figure out a way to get laid over there, okay? But what I'm talking about is the time constraint, no online dating, no connections. These things make it a little bit, all these factors make it very difficult to do it in a short period of time with no contacts at all. And so it was a pretty epic 8 days. I would say that it was pretty epic. And what I did was I wrote out, it ended up being 5,000 words long, a long blog post in detail how I managed to crack cold approach in Japan. Now, a lot of people say that cold approach is difficult over there. At the end of the blog post, I came to a conclusion on what I would say is my way of cracking the code. And how did I get to that conclusion? Well, if you read the entire blog post from the beginning to the end, my story is I get there and I start trying different things. I tried a whole range of different methods of approaching, not just approaching different demographics, but approaching girls by themselves, 2 sets, 3 sets, group sets, how I would do it. And I broke it down methodically, analyzed each day, and figured out what worked best over a short period of time. Now that I think that's epic. Going to a random city, I'm hoping that the borders open very soon and I'm able to do that again very soon and pick a few cities around the world and just drop in a city, random city, and spend 1 or 2 weeks there and try and crack the code there and maybe write a blog post when I do that. That's something that I think is epic, when you can actually crack the code. And I would say that I did within 5 days, 4 or 5 days, cracked the code, and learnt quite a lot about Japan in such a short period of time. It was just, the entire time I was there was, as soon as the plane landed, game on. I pretty much did nothing else there apart from cold approach and dating in 8 days. You would call, I would call it pickup survivor, or survivor pickup. And I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. Top link in the description, pinned comment as well. I went in detail in this blog post, so hopefully you enjoy it. And I think a lot of the lessons that I learnt in that little experience there can be copied and pasted wherever you go. It's not just an Asian-centric, East Asia type of a strategy. You can use this strategy anywhere you go. I would say that you can use it in any country, anywhere in the world. The strategies in which I used. So hopefully that's educational. And it's just there for free to read. That's all. Yeah, it's all for free. I'm not charging anything for it. But actually, look, while we're here, if you want to get some coaching with me, check out my website that's in the description. You can also DM me on Facebook, Instagram. I've got a Facebook group. If you want to learn, you want to watch infields from all around the world, I've got 30 to 40 hours of infield, cold approach infield breakdowns, where I break down infields from people from all over the world. They're all in this one Facebook group. There's nothing else posted in there. It's just purely the videos. That's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I've got a Telegram group if you want to join up there as well, and you can DM me and sign up to do some coaching with me in my form that's on my website. So hopefully that's been helpful and I've been of service to you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.